Then what then happens to Magu's rights of response to these integrity tests?
He had no opportunity, because you can see he was claiming there were two letters, and to whom were they addressed to? That's a very important aspect of the whole thing. Why should DSS be addressing letter to the clerk of the Senate? Many things have gone wrong there. It shows something is wrong.
Do you think that it will be right for Mr. Magu to continue, or the president to say, okay, well, even though they didn't accept you twice, go on and act? And what does that do to the perception of the fight against corruption?
Look, Section 5 of the Constitution says all executive powers are vested in the president. And if I have the president's heart, if I have the president's mind, I have no fear. The appointment of Magu is in pursuance of the executive act of the president. So he has the president's ear, he has the president's mouth, he has everything. So when he speaks, he's speaking on behalf of Mr. President.
Let's flip to the other matter, which also happened in the Senate, about the customs. The Senate wants him to appear in uniform, but he went there saying, well, did he write me asking me to appear? But they sent him back and said, come back on Wednesday.
This is a very, very funny situation. Funny situation in the sense that you are seeing for the first time a non-custom official being appointed as the head of custom. The gentleman there now has been a colonel, a retired colonel in the army. All his life he has been wearing the army this thing. And I don't think from day one of his appointment he has ever put on any uniform of the custom. But again, it's a question of psychic. I remember one Major General, when he was retired during Babangida regime, he was posted to the Corps Marshal. And he quickly changed from the military uniform into the Corps Marshal uniform. I see nothing wrong, let's be honest about it, if not for personal ego. I see nothing wrong in this gentleman wearing the uniform of the Controller General. But maybe personal ego, but I don't want to be too personal to say personal ego.
He has till Wednesday to appear before the Senate again.
Well,
do you think that he possibly will accommodate and heed to the Senate's demands that he wears the uniform? Do you think that will happen in 2 days' time?
There are two ways to look at this. The Senate issuing a command, the way they have done it, I don't think it's proper. The Senate is to legislate and to do the other jobs of looking at appropriated money and everything. If a man does not dress properly before the Senate can draw attention, but to command that they should do it, that's the only aspect I don't like.
So it's a subjudicial issue?
What?
It's a subjudicial issue then that shouldn't be discussed in the Senate?
No, what I'm saying is that the way and manner they now give him days to go and do it it's not fair, because they don't have that power. What is the difference between him coming in his uniform and him not coming in his uniform? It does not make a difference from what he's going to say before you.
But what do you say to those who think that, look, you can't be in that office, enjoy all the perks, all the paraphernalia of the office, and refuse to get the full regalia of the office? Does it hold water?
Well, if I were a friend to this gentleman, I would advise him to wear the uniform. You know, not for all purposes, but at least when it's going, this is an official function, it's going to perform. And if it is an official function, then it should be in his official uniform. To that extent, I agree with the Senate. It's only the way and manner the Senate is giving him an instruction. But if I were his friend, I would tell him, you are going to the Senate to present the budget of the Senate. And as the head of the Senate, you must be seen to be, in your full regalia. If I were his friend, I would tell him.
But in the final analysis, do you think that all that is going on between the Senate and the executives is democracy, or they seem to be taking advantage of something, the Senate?
What?
All that is happening between the Senate
Yeah.
and the executive. Is it democracy, or somebody is taking advantage of something?
Well, we learn every day. If you see what has been going on in America for the past 6 weeks, you will see, democracy working at its best. What you regard as Sikhism may be one of the normal things that happen. So I don't see anything wrong in it. Nobody's undermining anybody. But when it turns into personal things, for instance, you saw one of the proposed national security advisor, after having been cleared, certain informations were heard about his reaction with Russians. He had to resign. So that is democracy working. There will be schism between the executive, but we know where the line stops. Yeah. But the problem is that at times, I am loath to say this, the parliamentary people believe they are all on top of everybody. And that's the problem we have in Nigeria.
Mr. Robert Clark, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, we appreciate your comment on this morning.
God bless you. Thank you very much.
Let's hand over to Mark by now. She's got the other perspective waiting in the studio.